Former Speaker of the House, Mr. Speaker, our third Speaker of the evening.
It's your hat trick.
Yeah, we got it.
I don't know that this has ever been done, to be honest.
I think there is a first for television, and I'm very proud of this. The plaque, or we're going to do the plaque later. What do you came back into town for some meetings, important meetings. What do you think about this whole wild situation with Biden now coming out again on Monday with Lester Holt? He didn't do any interviews. Suddenly it's interview after interview.
Well, he's trying to protect himself. But what's so interesting here is I've been talking about my interactions with Biden for more than a year. This is really their Watergate moment. Who knew, what did they know, and what did they do when they found out? Because they have covered this up the entire time, from the vice president on down. And his greatest insurance policy is Kamala Harris. Since this has come forward after the debate, Kamala Harris, with the potential of her being the nominee, her numbers are actually dropping and her unfavorables are rising more than 51%. So Biden's trying to say she can't win either.
So right now, if you had to game this out, and you've been in Washington for many, many years, you had to game this out. Republicans on the Hill, what's the potential for pickup given this disarray and the bad policies in this administration?
This could be one of the biggest nights Republicans have had since Reagan in '84, because things are in play. I have watched a district in California that Biden won by 13, that Trump is now winning by 13, and that's a Democrat poll, David Valadez.
Oh, yeah.
But I've seen down where you go down to Scott Baugh, Orange County, a seat that Biden carried, Trump's now winning. I watched a seat earlier that Biden carried by 26 that now Trump is carrying. This could be a place, if Republicans were smart. Remember what we did in the last election, where we defeated the DCCC chair they didn't think we could ever play up in New York, and we came in late? We should play in seats we've never thought about playing before, and take it all the way out.
I'd go in every side. I'd go in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, California, Oakland. I'd do it all. Now,
remember, I won 5 in California and 5 in New York. Most people said don't play there. 1 in Oregon, Arizona.
Really smart. Now, I want to talk about your meetings with Biden, because I know you shared some of this with us before, but your impression at the time, especially the staff that helped manage him during those meetings? Well,
the first thing you realize is something's wrong because the White House is so quiet. Nothing is buzzing in the Oval Office. It's just him. And really, you're only dealing between 8 and about 10 and 2 in the afternoon that you go to see him. But every meeting I had was different. The first thing I found out is every meeting, no matter if it's a few people, he had to talk from a card. And what I found was I disrupted him once he got in talking to the card. He'd close it, and he couldn't carry on the conversation. So I found it as an advantage to let him start and then interject. The other thing I know, sometimes he'd whisper. You didn't know what he said. He'd always tell you these old stories back with Reagan.
Oh, Reagan used to do that,
so you kind of stopped negotiating ever with him, and you went to staff. And staff knew it. Staff just stayed quiet. But there was this one time where he totally wasn't with it, and he took us on a tour totally down to the swimming pool in wintertime. And Jill was across the table when he first said, "Do you want to go outside?" And she yells, "No, they don't want to go outside." He turns around and said, "You don't want to go outside?" And then continues to walk us down. It was the most disturbing.
Is there a little desk in there? A little desk?
Okay, this is the interesting part.
I've heard about the desk in the pool area.
Okay.
Tell us.
Well, no, it's not. It's not in the pool.
Meeting.
What it is it's right outside the Oval Office. It's where Trump had
his little.
Remember that, the gift shop?
In the gift shop. Yeah.
He has made it an office for himself. It's just 10 feet before the Oval Office, and there's a little table in there, and then there's this valet, and there was a blue dress shirt, all wrinkled, sitting on it as the president comes in. And the president gets like real happy when he walks in, like this is his happy place. And I couldn't understand, why are you having this office with the Oval Office right there? And why is the president ever taking his shirt off, or staff not picking it up?
But is that where Trump used to keep the gifts, in that thin little room?
Yes, that's all.
So not in the place where Trump would have lunch and stuff like that.
No, but he has the lunch spot there.
But he was in that. Wait a second. That room is really, really skinny. It's like a shelf in there.
It's a little desk. Maybe only 3 people. He has a painting that he's had since the Senate.
But why?
Behind it.
What's going on? They like to keep him away there. Like
I don't know why he wants to go in there, but nobody else. You have the Oval Office for an office. That's when I left that meeting. I was physically and emotionally upset and disturbed that this was our president.
But Pelosi knows about it?
Oh, she knows.
Jeffries knows about it. Schumer knows about it. Xi knows about it. Putin knows about it. All these media people, for the most part, know about it.
I will tell you, when Biden went, after making that decision in Afghanistan and not listening to his generals, and sat down with Putin, That's when Putin decided to invade Ukraine. Sitting across and watching from him, and decided.
Well, he was KGB. You don't think he can read someone? He doesn't. It's a cognitive decline is easy to see in person.
Anybody who sits with him knows. America knows it by looking at him. Just his facial expression. The challenge here is it even gets worse almost every day. Every meeting I had with him was different than the Biden I had before.
You noticed a decline from meeting to meeting?
And there was a couple times he was more engaged. It was different. Every one, I didn't know which Joe Biden I would get. And the worst part was, I remember at the book deal up in New York, I brought this forward like 10 months ago. Kamala Harris comes in and totally attacks me. But also think about that public servant in the DOJ that said, I can't prosecute him because he's a nice old man, but he doesn't remember.
That's why they don't want to reveal the audio tapes.
So this is really Watergate. What did they know? Why did they lie to the American public? But what about the cover-up? The cover-up is always the worst.
And he still has, the ability to launch thermonuclear war. The football's still there, and he still can. Someone will give him the codes.
And you know what? He still makes the decisions. He will yell and make the decisions.
Kevin McCarthy, it's great to see you. The third speaker tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
As always. All right. Up